Hello, my friends. This is your host, Anna Bruno, with my dear friend, Susanna Tersarkisian. Okay, so let's talk about the roadmap to financial freedom, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is your mindset. You must have the right attitude when it comes to money and saving, and you have a clear picture and clear goal in your mind of what you want to achieve. Because if you don't see it, if you don't visualize it, if you don't write it down, then basically the question is, how are you going to know when you get there? And then oftentimes people will come and tell me, what's my number? And that means, what's my number that I need, like I can't retire on from what I have already. So if you want to retire at a certain age and have a certain amount of income, then it's basically like doing everything calculating backwards, right? Oftentimes it's a lot less than what you think. The younger you are, the less you have to do to get to the same end result. Your mindset is very, very important. This means, number one, you need to believe in yourself. You can't say, oh, I'm bad at money, let my husband take care of it, or my spouse take care of it. I'm bad at math and I don't, it's not my thing. Whatever, I'll work. I'm never gonna, I'm always gonna work. That's another one I hear all the time. I'm always gonna work. Like, okay, I love my job. I'm never gonna retire. Okay, but what if you get sick and you can't work? Mm-hmm. One way is to plan for it is to buy a disability insurance policy, which basically covers your certain percentage of your income. Typically 60% of your income is covered by disability insurance. So if I have an accident or I have a health situation, like for me that happened to me, right? I mean, out of nowhere I found out that I had cancer, and it literally stole 2 years of my life, and I couldn't work for 2 years. And luckily I had disability insurance. It kicked in, and it was, I was able to help with the financing and income to replace some of my income. So that's one way. The other way is, if you have done an amazing job of saving a lot of money in your emergency fund, that's another way to prepare for something like not being able to work. Risk number 2 would be, what if you live too short, right? That's a risk. If, especially for those of us who have young children, nobody thinks it's going to happen to them, but anything can happen in life. And if God forbid you pass away, if you die, then you have a responsibility, right? Parental and humane responsibility to your children to provide for them. So what do you do for them? So that's where the life insurance comes in, right? And again, life insurance is just one option. There are many other options. You can save money. You can invest your money. You can buy real estate to leave to your children. You can have a business and have a business exit strategy to live for your children, or have the money come to protect your children. So there's many ways to do that. But the point is that you have to think about the risks. You have to think about the outcomes and plan for it. So that's really the key. And the last risk that I want to talk about is living too long. I mean, nobody ever thinks about this, but it's true. You can actually live too long. That's a good problem to have. I hope I have that problem. You have to have a lot of money saved, because for some people, maybe retirement means you're only retiring for 10 years or 20 years, and some of us, you're retiring for 30, 40 years. So that's a risk. It just means that you have to be really conscious of making sure that you understand what is your expected retirement income. And there are many avenues of retirement income, right? For those of us who are in the United States, you get Social Security income. As you work into the system, you pay Social Security tax, and then because of that, you get Social Security income. Some people, it used to be more often, not as much now, but as you work for large companies, large corporations, you usually get a pension plan from them. And unfortunately, a lot of the large companies are getting away from pension plans. But for those people who are close to retirement, chances are you probably have a pension plan that's coming from your job or your company. And typically, the way the pension plans work are similar to Social Security. It's basically, think of it as like you open the faucet and water comes out and never stops. It pays you income forever until you pass away. And sometimes it'll pay income based on your life and your spouse's life, if you choose that option. And by the way, that's an option that you have to pick. You have to choose yourself. So as a financial planner, we sit down with clients and we just go through a lot of their benefits and planning and different strategies that they have or goals that they want to accomplish. And it all comes down to planning. Okay, so those are the risks that have to be considered. And again, it's all about your mindset. You have to say, I'm taking control of my finances. I'm not going to let life dictate what's going to happen to me. The next point I want to talk about, roadmap to financial freedom and wealth building, is to get organized. There are many different software programs these days. There's even just your regular Excel spreadsheet or even pen and paper. But the point is, you have to put down all your information in one physical place, in one physical location, so that you can actually see what's going on with your finances. When is something due? When do you have to do certain things? I personally try to automate as many things as I can. All my bills are automated, all our taxes are automated, our insurance policy premiums are automated. Anything and everything that I can set up on automatic payment plan. Now, what we offer, if anybody is interested, I can send you a book called The Family Love Letter. It's called The Family Love Letter, and it was written by an attorney. It forces you to put everything that you could think of that is part of your finances on piece of paper in a one physical location. For example, I'll just go over some of the things that are in the Family Love Letter. It asks you to list all of your professional advisors. Who is your accountant? Who is your attorney? Who is your mortgage broker? List your retirement accounts, your IRAs and 401ks and so on. And also helps you come up with your monthly budget. So that was point number 2. What was point number 2? Get organized. Number 3, you want to tackle and stay on top of your budget and savings. That's where, if you guys remember from one of my videos, the money mistakes video, like 10 money mistakes that you must avoid, one of the ones that I talk about is spend less than you earn. So how are you going to know what is your budget? You have to have your expenses, what's coming in and what's going out. What's going out has to be less than what's coming in, right? So that's where the budget comes in. Let me see if I can get my budget sheet here and I can show it to you guys. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. That's your My Budget worksheet. And it talks about, again, your income, right? And you're detailing all of your income. And then you have to go through your expenses. And we have broken it down for you, different expenses, all kinds of different. There's probably more than you are incurring, but nonetheless, you have that. Destroying your debt. Okay, so getting rid of your debt. Getting rid of your debt is important. Golden rule is do not spend on your credit card unless you have the money to pay for it at the end of the month. I know in some situations, it's an emergency and you lost your job. Yes, of course. But this is why you have to have an emergency fund in the first place to begin with. So you want to have an emergency fund for that. And then once we have perfected our mindset, got organized, and then started to work on our budget, then the next thing we have to do is start working on building wealth. And to build wealth, you have to start investing your money, not just saving your money. Saving your money is good start, but you don't want to stop there. You want to invest your money, and there are many different ways to invest your money depending on your level of experience and knowledge. You can start as easy as buying a mutual fund or an exchange traded fund, and you must have multiple forms of income, multiple sources of income, not just rely on your job. You know, you want to get to a point where you have other sources of income that eventually you can actually eliminate your job if you want to. The final point I want to make is to plan for the necessities. Plan for the necessities, and that is, as I said, make sure you have a will. Make sure you, have all the legal documentation that you need that's accessible to your spouse or your children. Make sure that when you change jobs or you get a job, you put in your spouse as the beneficiary on your retirement plans, or include your children as your contingent beneficiaries for your retirement plans. So anyway, thank you so much. I hope this was interesting to you. I hope you have lots of questions. By the way, I have lots and lots of other worksheets and calculators. We have any calculator you can think of, I have it. So any resources that you need, I'm only one email away.